Good day to you on the Miami Community News Network. Willard Shepard Law and Media, and In the Know. We're coming to you from the Florida Bar Convention, and we are with one of my good friends and a person who's running one of the facilities that's kindest in my heart, and that would be our law dean at the FIU College of Law, Antony Page. Dean, always great to see you.
And great to see you
all
too,
these
Willard.
Environments. And, I go around and yell as loudly as I can until all of the Canes and the Knowles and the Gators get upset with me. And I keep yelling about how great our bar passage rate is. And we've been top of the list for the last decade, and hopefully the next decade as well. So it's fantastic what you're doing there. Many of the, I'm seeing some of my graduates and classmates along with me here in the hallways here today. And I imagine that at the end of the day, all of the educational things that you want to do and instill in the young people coming through at the end of the day, you'd like them to be able to earn a living, and the state, recognize them that they've accomplished what we believe is necessary.
Absolutely. And you mentioned our top bar passage rate. That's wonderful to have, but people don't go to law school so they can take and pass the bar exam. They go to law school because they want good employment opportunities. They want to have a rewarding career. So actually, I am much prouder of where our graduates are going off to work and the number of our graduates who are going off to work. We have an amazing, amazing employment record, and that's just thanks to our graduates who are hardworking and diligent and, well, like yourself, are
there we go,
extraordinarily successful.
Hey, look, we're here, and I'm joking about the Gators and the Canes and all that. We love all of our associates as well.
Some of your best friends are Gators and Canes,
there
right?
You go, and Knowles. We don't want to leave the Knowles out, and our St. Thomas people as well. But you talked about moving into and developing the ability to be able to earn a living and work in different places and contribute to our legal community and our community in general. Historically, our law school is an infant in this. So how have we been able to move into these areas when historically, our school didn't even exist?
Absolutely. So we graduated our first class in 2005, which is 19 years ago. Where our graduates, however, one area where they have really made an impact is in criminal law as public defenders or state prosecutors. A really significant portion, between 20 and 25% of our graduates go into that kind of public service every year. More recently, we have had a couple of graduates get these wonderful awards. The Equal Justice Works and the Skadden Fellowship are two of the top public interest fellowships in the country. And typically, especially with the Skadden, those are won by graduates of places like Harvard and Yale and Columbia. And we had our first graduate, I think it was 2 years ago, get a Skadden Fellowship. So they're really able to give back. And of course, one other reason is we do benefit from the generosity of the taxpayers of Florida, so that our tuition is significantly lower than that of private schools. And that means that gives our graduates a little more freedom to pursue public interest jobs, which frankly tend to be a lot less compensated than the private sector.
When it comes to where we're going with the law now, and obviously Prevail and it's AI technology and these types of things, talk about being able to try to embed, and you and I have had some of these conversations, to make sure that the things that we learned during the pandemic about remote activity, about using the technology that's available to be able to serve the public. How are we training the next generation of lawyers to do that?
Okay. So that is an excellent question, and it's one that law schools right across the country are grappling with. So at one extreme, there are professors who think we've got to stay well away from that, because if students are using AI or other kinds of technologies, they won't develop the kind of professional identity and skills that they need. Now, our approach is a bit different. We see AI and these emerging technologies as another tool, and we think that we need to prepare our students so that they're ready for it. And the reason why I say this is because it's really clear that our employers are using these kinds of technologies right now. So our students need to be ready when they graduate to use them as well.
How do we balance that in a sense of, in an academic environment, some of this technology is so great. How are we ensuring that, in lay terms, hey, the students are actually doing the work?
Well, that is an interesting question, because in particular, for example, with AI and whether it's plagiarism or not, there are detectors. They probably don't work particularly well. So the key way of making sure that people aren't using technologies that they aren't supposed to is through in-class exams and other means like that. Mm-hmm. Now, in some ways, after our students have learned the basics, a better approach is for them to learn what the limitations are of those technologies. So, for example, here's an assignment. We have an assignment. The students do it once on their own. And then they do it again using ChatGPT or Claude or one of the AI programs. Mm-hmm. And then, as part of it, they need to critique what was it that AI did better and what was it that AI did worse, and sometimes much, much worse. Mm-hmm. So it certainly is a problem, but it's a problem that we're aware of and I think we're addressing effectively.
Now, moving forward, what do you see 5 years, a decade down the road about where this will be and making sure that our students are prepared to be in that world? Because it would be a big adjustment to start to try to do that without any type of training prior to it.
Yeah, well, I would say within, over the time frame you'd suggested, 5 to 10 years, law school, we will have gone well beyond sort of AI and the law style of courses, and it will really be another tool that students are expected to learn how to master. In the same way that when I started law school, and that was only in 1994, my first semester, we weren't allowed to use Westlaw or Lexis. We had to do all of our research in the books. We even had to use pocket parts. We had to Shepardize manually. And after the first, I've never Shepardized manually again. I've never looked at pocket parts since right. Then. But this was a way to make sure we understood what everything was. I think we have a similar obligation, and we'll be able to do something like that as well with all of these new technologies. We need to make sure that our students do have the basic skills of writing, the basic skills of research, and will not just rely blindly on these technologies, which are likely to continue to be flawed. Even though I'm sure they will improve a great deal, they're not going to be perfect. Overall, though, our goal is going to be to make sure that our graduates are better than AI. In other words, that they will be able to add value right. above and beyond these technologies.
They can outthink the AI.
That is the goal.
There you go. To the value of this education. And for Miss Christina on the other side of the camera there for us with all of her talent today, I had just had a conversation with her because she recently graduated from the University of Miami, and congratulations to her, about following her father's footsteps and becoming an attorney and those things. And I always use myself as an example of being what I call a weird ball lawyer, okay? As a, fighter pilot, as a journalist, mm-hmm. as a, now having my own practice. But for young people that are thinking about, well, what should I do? That just coming to be a student at FIU College of Law doesn't necessarily mean that you need to go to work at the state attorney's office or go to work at the law firm. And those are fantastic things. But what do you say to young people about thinking beyond that and how this education can help them?
Well, one of the key things that I say is going to law school and getting a legal education provides great skills above and beyond simply practicing as a lawyer. And one of the key advantages is it will help launch the graduate in a variety of different directions. There's a cliche about learning how to think like a lawyer. And as it turns out, learning how to think like a lawyer helps in a huge range of areas. It's learning how to problem solve. And technology is never going to solve all our problems. There will always be problems left for humans to solve, and people who have legal training are in an excellent position to come up with those optimal solutions.
And be able to then organize not only the solution, but to execute that solution.
Absolutely. It's not enough to identify a solution, as you say. You also have to be able to implement, to execute that solution, and lawyers are in a great position to be able to do that.
Lastly, tell us where the law school is headed in its next semester and beyond. Some projects, things that you're currently working on that the general public may not be aware of.
Sure. Well, one of the key things, and this is with also the support of Florida taxpayers, is we are planning to hire 2 new environmental law professors. We already have an environment law and economics initiative, and we're going to expand on that because pretty clearly South Florida is one of those areas which is greatly affected by climate change, probably more than any other area in the United States. So FIU has a huge range of expertise in that area, and we want to expand in the legal area in that area. So that's one initiative that I am very excited about that I really think will help FIU Law serve the community.
And we also hope to have one of the U.S. Supreme Court justices come to our campus.
Yes, indeed. We heard Justice Roberts say that he might come, and yes, we hope that he will come.
And we know a person that you can talk to that will go unnamed at this point who might be able to help us make that happen.
Absolutely. If I may,
yes,
a second initiative that I think that I'm very proud of that isn't new for next year, but that we have been developing is specifically to do with well-being. And as you know, being a lawyer is stressful. Probably not as stressful as being in the military, but certainly it is stressful. And it's important for our law students to know how to deal with, how to cope, how to address those kinds of pressures, so that when they're in practice, they're better able to deal with them. So we have a well-being program that is really intended to help students learn to deal with these sorts of problems. And we've already seen some results, and I'm optimistic those results are going to continue.
And that'd be a real benefit to those of graduates who end up in situations where the staffing of where they are or the workload that's placed upon them, especially at the beginning of their careers, can sometimes be an overwhelming situation.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Always great to see you.
Great to see you as well. Thank you so much.
I'm going to keep yelling about our bar passage rate, but then I'm also yelling about all the different places that our graduates are working.
Fantastic.
Perfect. There we go. Dean Antony Page, FIU College of Law, and always a pleasure to be with him. And thank you for being with us on In the Know.